Hey, it's not actually Dead Cells content, it's Persona. That's right, I'm going to carry this well-tenderized horse corpse over the finish line whether you like it or not. Whether I like it or not. And I don't, I hate it.
Yeah, it's not exactly Secretariat here.
Well, hey, at least we're starting up a new social link today. Maybe UI is going to be kind of interesting. You required, like, what, 4 ranks, I think, of the Guts meta skill to actually talk to this guy in the first place?
Yeah, this guy's hardcore.
I mean, as you can see, look at him, you know, sitting on that tiny stool. What? Can't even tell.
He's got kind of, is that a toothpick or a cigarette? A very slim.
I think that's a toothpick.
Okay.
That feels more like a tooth. I mean, it does, unless it's a very, very thin, maybe it's a crack pipe. That's how hardcore it is.
Do people, like, really do that with toothpicks? So they keep them in their mouths, or is that just a replacement for cigarettes or something?
It might just be a replacement for cigarettes. I'm sure that there's probably some real hardcore laws about, like, not smoking inside.
Because, like, if anything, this is a controversial opinion, I think toothpicks might actually be more dangerous because, like, you know, if you fucking, like, bite that accidentally or something, or it just breaks off in your mouth.
Like, really, like, accidentally, like, swallow it, you're gonna really jab the hell out of your throat.
Like, you might die from that. You know what I mean? Like, that seems
There was an episode of House about that.
Oh, shit. Huh.
Which I remember because I over the course of this episode, footage that you didn't actually see, I looked at some of the more, you know, there's the DVD rental.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all like parodies of actual shows, even in Japanese.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't
Well,
realize.
guess what one of them was?
Oh, okay. Nice.
I can't even, like, it's so weird because even in Japanese, it's like, it's a once again, this is a very faithfully translated game. Like, extremely, you know, it's funny because the guy's like really not much taller than the main character, and yet he's trying to take the stance anyway, and it's like, Well, anyway, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a terrible deal or not. And frankly, it's like, you shouldn't underestimate my ability to customize guns. I have like a rank 4 in skill right now.
So is that the
I might not have worked on guns myself, but I have worked on creating like smoke bombs and, you know, tons of lockpicks and stuff.
Yeah, so just out of curiosity, like, that's the whole point of the social link, because you get to use guns in the Shadow Realm.
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay.
To be fair, unlike, you know, say Bloodborne or something, guns are actually pretty useful.
Okay.
Remember in that last fight, it's like the whole boss being out of range. I could get way more damage out of unloading a full clipazine into her than just casting, like, elemental magic over and over.
So you say a clipazine. So everything, it's like kind of a gungeon, enter the dungeon thing where everything has a cutesy name, like with the guns?
No.
Okay.
Do you know if a handgun uses clips or magazines?
No. I guess it would have to be clips. Well, obviously that would be clips.
Nope. It actually uses magazines. I can tell you that right now because it's always the opposite of whatever you said. See?
Is it really?
Yes, that's how it works.
I guess I don't know anything about guns.
I'm an expert gunsmith. I know.
Well, you've beaten Enter the Gungeon. I can't say that for myself.
I have. I mean, there's video proof of it. With some of like the most amazingly lucky runs that I've ever, like, I haven't even seen anybody else get as lucky as I was in that series. Between getting like rainbow chests and the high dragon fire, a gun that it's like prior to starting up that series, I had over 100 hours in and never saw it. It's not even included in like the actual like completion because it's so rare to see, and I just got it for the series.
Nice. Yeah.
Whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Just casually.
Well, to be fair, I've only played like 4 games of Dead Cells, and one of them I got a item that you've never gotten. So.
Oh, I've gotten that. I just have not gotten as good of a broadsword as that.
Yeah.
To be fair. Oh man, but even since then, it's like, man, you haven't even seen like the sort of things that they are pulling in Dead Cells right now. It's getting pretty wacky.
So I've heard.
Pretty rough. 3 days trying to stream a single run of that recently. Anyway, hey, why? Yeah, we're working for him now. As you do.
Yeah. These foes need punishment.
I mean, I don't. Yes, it's time to dole out. I mean, you got to remember these aren't actually real guns. It's like, I'm not entirely sure what sort of illicit goods I'm going to be delivering or whatever, but I guess we'll see.
Uh-huh.
Oh yes, this is also another thing that I did off screen. I went over to the secondhand shop, got a Raspberry Beret. No, got a Famicom. Like literally.
Wow, nice.
So we're doing that. Because again, the main character is like a super huge Luddite. Because I don't know. I guess the writers want to keep making the same game they did back in 2006.
Yeah. They can just reuse all that stuff.
Yeah, reuse all the same basic concepts, like calling into a phone order shopping program and playing with DVDs.
That's why they call him Ryuji, because he's a writer insert. I don't know.
I don't get it.
Reuse. I don't know. It doesn't even make
wow.
sense.
No, I get it more. That frog's been dissected.
How's this?
I mean, to be fair, it's like you could have gotten something a little bit better than just a top-down shooter. Come on.
Yeah. So wait,
on the NES, it's like
I don't get the appeal here. So we're just watching other people play video games.
I could have done that better.
That's really stupid.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the only thing more boring than playing a game that you don't like yourself is watching somebody else play it.
Yeah. Or even worse, like playing it so that other people will watch you. That's the most.
Yeah, at least that takes some artistry.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, anyway, he's Torinosuke again. Which, you know, the guy who definitely does not know that I am a Phantom Thief. That I am the Phantom Thieves.
Yeah.
And you might say, wait, aren't you a Phantom? No, I am the Phantom Thieves.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is one of those that's like, you know, this is what we call irony when he gives his speech. Because remember, he doesn't know.
No, and yet it's so ridiculous just how like absolutely frothing at the mouth to get any sort of scraps of information on the Phantom Thieves everybody is right now. But I mean, here we are. What can you say? Like every single time
is hanging on. Yeah, like they're hanging on every word about the Phantom Thieves. It's just
it's like the Phantom Thieves right now. Once again, we pointed this out in a few episodes in the past. It's like
taking down they heroically took down the gym teacher.
Yeah, the gym teacher, a traditional artist, and a local mafia boss. And have literally never said anything else about any future plans or reasoning for what they do or anything like that. And people and politicians are basing like speeches and policies off of them. Like, they set aside specific segments of like every news program to talk about how cool the Phantom Thieves are and how they all hate them. By the way, you can actually see Kuramoto's grandson in the background. He's behind the guy with the mask.
Oh, okay.
You can tell because his model is significantly more detailed.
Yeah.
Which I know. I mean, I like the way they do the NPCs in this game, but it is kind of silly though too. Yep. So, once again, Torinosuke just decides not to do anything.
This is just like one of those, like, it's an arc, but it's a false arc, because he's like, what actually changed for Torinosuke? He's just doing the same thing that he was doing before. He's still giving these speeches, but now I guess he's just aligned himself with the Phantom Thieves, and now that makes him good and successful.
But the thing is, it's like it's not like my presence. I mean, except for the fact that he knows that I am part of the Phantom Thieves or whatever. It's like everybody's jumping on the Phantom Thief bandwagon. It's such a huge thing that nothing changed in this. Yeah, that's right. It's like nothing at all changed over the course of this. He's literally doing the exact same thing that he was doing at the beginning. You're right.
Yeah. Now, so he does know that you're a Phantom Thief?
I'm pretty
sure. Otherwise, they're doing way too much irony. Like,
unless I was totally misunderstanding as I was rolling my eyes too hard while clicking through some of the future footage that I've recorded.
Okay, fair enough.
And I missed some important stuff. It's like, I'm pretty sure he does.
Okay. Yeah.
That line right there can just sum up the entirety of this arc.
Of this game, really.
I set the stage for nothing.
Just, I put all these characters in this play, and they never did anything. They just sat around and waited for things around them to change.
But hey, congratulations. I was moved by your speech of, well, everybody, I know you all fucking hate me, and that I'm never going to be able to accomplish my dreams of being an effective parliamentary member. All right, thanks for coming to my speech.
Yeah. All right, and
wow, what a great speech, Torinosuke. I'll say.
what an unexpected turn of events. Yeah.
And so nothing changed, and nothing, but everything was gained. Persona 5, everybody.
Yeah. You had a change of heart thanks to me just kind of being here and just talking to you.
And by change of heart, you mean nothing. You did the exact same thing you've been doing for 20 years.
And you just kind of talked to us. You talked at me. Really, I didn't really respond to anything you said. Except just giving
Yeah,
answers.
in fact, 90% of the time that you talked to me, I said, yo, Torinosuke, this is a good deal. You should take it. You know, stuff like that. It's like, wow.
This is
what
like
a great story.
This is like they just are going through the motions of a story, but they aren't actually having like character growth or anything. This is like they're doing the scene like at the end of the Return of the King where everybody's like, well, that was quite a journey we've gone on then, I suppose. But it's like, no, we didn't go anywhere.
Truly, we are.
We didn't even leave
the
the Shire, you fuck.
Yeah, it's like we just sat around, had second breakfast, and it's like, wow, I've changed so much as a person.
Yeah, thanks for being you. I didn't do anything.
Exactly. And now I'm away. I got a political campaign to run because I'm the candidate now.
Because I've changed so much. You know, I know we did that the Nomad Soul thing, and that was absolutely ridiculous because there was nothing followed from anything. There were no character growth. I think this is as bad, but they had all the money they needed to finish this. You know what I mean? Like this is their vision.
You know, like straight up, I was actually thinking about Omicron before doing this episode here, and it's just like, you know what? The story in that game sucked, but at least it's like they went through it and things happened. Like stuff happened in that game.
Hold on, let's not romanticize that game. No,
it all sucked. It was all quite bad.
The revolution
Look, here's
was
the thing.
held
Even
off
as bad
screen.
as that ending was, as rushed and terrible and stupid, laughably, comically so, at least it only took 8 episodes to get to.
That's true. It did actually like end, and I'm not sure about this game ever ending. Like by the time we're done with this, they're gonna have that new like expansion or whatever, or the new Persona 5.
Well, I mean, we are playing Persona 5 The Royal right now, you know?
It's just a never-ending stream of content, so you'll never ever finish.
Oh, and it's all and like we were just saying, it's all just like this like totally gray, like plain oatmeal. Nothing happens, nothing ever changes. We just kind of keep going on in the same way.
Yeah. It's got all these affectations of counterculture, but like she's kind of like she's got that spiderweb dress. She's got all the like fashion and stuff. But really, she's just a good person deep down, and the story's about validating her. It's like, it's just, there's no challenge.
I mean, it's not even deep down. It's on the surface. I mean, didn't you see that one thing where the guy's like, oh man, you were doing experiments on this kid? Well, I'm sure you followed all of the most strictest protocols and regulations. It's like, uh-huh.
And it's just like, and now we're seeing, well, this is all that it amounts. Again, we're doing the same thing with the Return of the King. We never left the Shire, though.
We did one thing.
Yeah.
And that was deal with the horrible chief of staff. This is just a story about a woman who's bedeviled by a horrible chief of staff.
And then we
The
fixed.
Phantom Thieves took 10 minutes out of their fucking busy-ass schedule to go fix it.
Yeah, we didn't have to like orchestrate a plan to do that either. We just did it. You saw it in that. I think it was the last episode.
Yeah.
And we just fixed the problem, and that's the arc. That's the whole arc.
That's the whole arc. She hasn't done anything different or, changed in any way. We just took care of this horrible chief of staff that was bedeviling her.
Yeah, we just get to the point in Fellowship where we walk, where Sam says, "Oh, I've never been this far outside the Shire," and they walk like 100 more feet, grab like a fruit from the tree, and then come back, and that's the.
Well, it's more like it's more like a Gandalf comes up to Frodo, says, "Oh, you got to keep that ring safe." Anyway, I'm gonna go kill Sauron, and then he goes and kills Sauron. And it's like, okay, now we can just have a nice leisurely stroll over to the the Mount Mordor,
Yeah.
and toss that ring in there.
Well, you don't simply walk. You got to have a little bit of a happiness in your step. You got to skip a little bit.
Yeah, it's like Wizard of Oz style.
Yeah.
After again, like Gandalf took 10 minutes out of his busy ass fucking schedule to just go kill Sauron.
Again, it's like if she actually just had a bad dream in Wizard of Oz, that it would be like, well, you just had a bad dream. You were all there, and a lot of stuff happened. Well, can you tell us it? No, I've already forgotten the dream. It's been like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I walked down like a road and we saw a crystal city. It was cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's for breakfast?
Yeah. And just like there's no love when they have her say guinea pig. It's just an arbitrary way to give her character without doing any work, which isn't terrible.
Like again, she has no actual like interesting. Yeah, you got to remember that these parts were all added for the royal.
Yeah, and I suppose
It's like they're now kind of like backpedaling and being like, no, but she was actually like kind of edgy in some ways. It's cool.
in fairness, like adding characters to an existing like situation, like where you've already got the arc set, is like that is difficult to do. And I mean, well, we can judge them for the choice in doing that. I can say, okay, fine, you have to do these things that are, non-canonical.
Yeah, but this is also a pretty arbitrary thing in the first place too.
Yeah,
so
they
chose to put this in. They didn't have to.
We're gonna go on a self-contained adventure here, and that's fine. It's just that the game itself doesn't have like. It's shocking, like this stuff. It is actual content. Like again, we're kind of doing the comparison to bad to worse. Like before this wasn't even in the game, and I don't know if that makes it better or worse, but like.
I mean, I still have to transcribe and caption it.
Like, does this content add anything substantively to the main plot? No, but the main plot didn't have anything going on before that.
It's all just it's just a total like malaise of terribleness. They're just kind of floating through. Take responsibility, Phantom Thieves.
That's a normal thing.
Man, it's hot.
Well, it's a normal thing to say in some of the comics I've read.
Yeah, it's like, and just like Medjed give me the location or whatever. It just everybody only talks about Medjed, the Phantom Thieves, or some other thing that's directly relevant.
Frothing at the mouth, as I was saying.
Like in Persona 4, I'm sure they do a lot of this, but it makes sense because it's a small town, and if there's a fucking murder in a small town and everyone's talking about it, that's totally understandable. But like,
Yeah.
this is Tokyo, and it's like 4 people that we've changed the heart of. One of whom is just like fucking Futaba, and no one knows about her anyway. She's a shut-in.
Yeah, and I mean, like, one of them is Kaneshiro, who it's just like, I don't think too many people would have paid much attention if the cops just arrested him.
Yeah, like he's not like El Chapo.
I mean, well, obviously people would have paid attention. He had. Do you see how many ATM machines he had under his reign, of which we only ever met one?
Yeah.
Like it's every single time. I spelled "don't" wrong.
All right.
Too many apostrophes.
Well, the fortune teller is she's a good person, I believe, right? She was helping out.
I mean,
with
this
it.
is like the one character that might actually be considered a dirtbag.
Yeah. I mean,
that
she
we're talking
actually,
to at all.
her boyfriend stopped abusing her. What the hell? She didn't even buy that salt crystal.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like, why is this? Why? Again, I just like we talked about that so much last time or the time before, whenever. I don't know. Time is an abyss. Like, do you even know how to read these cards? If it was like horrible misfortune, it would be like the Tower or the Devil. The problem is that so wait a second, she doesn't even know how to. Well, whatever. And that's only the main arcana? Shouldn't she be like, looking at the 3 of Cups or something? Whatever, you know what?
Was she added in the royal?
Look, she's a fraud, but also not really.
So was this character added in the royal?
No, this is an OG one apparently.
I do like how evil her eyes are. Like,
Yeah, they just look like anime to me.
yeah, I suppose, but just like she looks,
Headband is like an abyss that I'm looking into.
she just genuinely looks like like hateful and mean spirited,
Evil.
in a way that like other characters really don't. Like even the villains are like they're just like they're not as evil.
I don't know if I would say that far.
Okay, that's fine. Some of the villains have been pretty evil, yeah.
Some of the villains, Kamoshida's still, actually we were kind of talking about that before, how it's like, this is, edginess minus with all the edges sanded off.
Yeah.
It's like, could you imagine what this game would be like if it was actually edgy?
I don't know if it would be better.
Ugh.
It might be the worst thing ever.
I don't think it would be better. I think everything would be like the Kamoshida arc.
Oh yeah.
And then it's like the characters would actually be like mean assholes who are like drinking and actually having sex with prostitutes, and I'm just like, it would basically be the 2013 Devil May Cry reboot, and I just think like, I'm actually better with this one.
Yeah, in fairness, like Danganronpa is pretty edgy, but it manages. I mean, it's funny is the thing is.
Well, it's like comedic. Though.
Yeah, they do it in a way that works because they're so. His Monokuma is so evil and mirthful about the whole thing. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. He's got charisma.
And it's like, we've talked about before how it's just like, I'm pretty sure this is not supposed to be like pitch black humor parody type of thing, whereas Danganronpa absolutely is.
Yeah. And that's the thing is one of the things like with this game is I think you can get away with all the flaws of this game if you just make it funny. Like if you just make or maybe not funny
Shorter.
but charming and like emotionally pathos. But there's every character seems so damn flat. It's like
Yeah. All the villains are one-dimensional. All the main characters, like I said, don't have. It's like they're edgy with all the edges sanded off.
Like if I didn't think this fortune teller was gonna eventually turn out to be a good person all along, like that might be a little bit interesting. But I feel like they're just gonna end up being like, oh well, she's actually just trying to earn money for her dying mother or whatever.
That seemed like where the Kawakami storyline was going to go before I just dropped that because,
Yeah.
Okay, now Najima, you don't have anything for this one, do you?
I like how they're
You must
just,
have had some sort of fortune teller. I got nothing. Whatever. Tell me more about your dumb story.
I like that the frame story is just like there to remind us that there's a frame story. It's like there's no purpose to it. It's just like, oh, and then you did the most evil thing. You went after Futaba, and then you went after whoever the fuck the boy detective.
We'll be finding out in the next episode or the next episode. I don't remember which one.
Mm-hmm. So when are we going forward in time? When do we actually get to the end?
At this point in time, I just assume that the future frame device is taking place in like next February or something. Because it's like it doesn't feel like we're getting any closer to it ever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still think that it's like knowing that there's 7 palaces, there's going to be, well, some fucking guy, the Haru Palace next, and then we're going to get the Goro and Najima Palace, I guess. I think, but does it feel like we're inching any closer there?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, do you have superpowers aside from being able to tell the future?
By the way,
that would be...
I just want to point out this is such like the scene where like after the scene, like they just don't have any confidence in their own writing abilities. They're just like, let's just have her see the main character off and just, we just discussed this in the scene, but let's just come back and talk about what we just, make sure you're here for the next thing.
You gotta know that they exchange phone numbers.
Yeah.
If you don't know that, then how would it make any sense when she sends you an IM later?
Well, when do the characters go to the bathroom?
Exactly. I mean, here's the thing. I'm sure that if I... Wait a second, going back to Omicron again. You really want that?
No. God.
No, nobody does, except for David Cage. Anyway, yeah. So Makoto's storyline is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Because I thought that, the initial... I was so incensed at that initial social link that we did where she was just going around harassing people. But as it turns out, we were actually supposed to be thinking that she was doing something wrong.
Okay, great. Yes.
Which, okay, that's one thing. If we didn't just, 2 episodes ago try and go stalk out somebody at a planetarium because they were muttering to themselves.
Yeah.
And that was totally okay. Or, any of the other times, like harassing, God, and just thinking about it, it's like, okay, so the time we encountered Mishima and accused him of bullshit, it's like he got angry at us and basically blew us off. Yusuke got angry at us and tried to coerce Anne into stripping for him. Ida got angry at us and just was very insulting and mean. And now when accusing this person, it's like, oh, we're best friends now. Also, we're just learning the same goddamn lesson that we should have learned by her joining the Phantom Thieves in the first place. Like, why do we need an entirely separate occurrence? It's like, didn't you learn anything about not judging people when you joined the fucking Phantom Thieves?
Well, what are you talking about? All they do is judge people.
Well, thankfully, Makoto's learning. Oh, fucking whatever. Persona, this is an okay story, but it doesn't fit in the rest of the goddamn game that you've created.
Well, in fairness, like we just got to take what we can get.
Yeah, you're right.
And again,
I'm so against that though.
In all seriousness, this is a pretty decent arc as far as Persona goes, but like this is one of those things.
Ham-handed, but what are you gonna expect?
But the other thing is just like, again, we're giving the main character all the credit. It's like, if it hadn't been for the Phantom Thieves, it's like, no, you went on an arc, you went on a journey, you made some mistakes and you learned some lessons and you came back. That it wasn't because of the Phantom Thieves. The Phantom Thieves had fucking nothing to do with that. Like, in
fact, the Phantom Thieves would like actively convince you that everybody around you is a scumbag who needs to be punished, if anything. Which is really more what's happening. Whatever. Again, it's like, you know what? Okay, fine. This isn't as bad as I thought it was, because I took that one part of the arc, that one social link part at face value, like every other fucking part of the game.
Well, I mean, maybe
it's like the game has just trained me to hate it. What do you want from me?
Well, maybe they're gonna come around. Maybe they're gonna like be less judgy in the whole episode.
Oh yeah, I bet.
In the whole
like
game.
In the same way that the writers have no self-awareness that they would be villains in their own story with how much they're perving on Anne.
Well, maybe they're gonna come around.
Sure, that this is gonna be the point in time where the writers have their hearts changed by the Phantom Thieves, like Torinosuke.
Well, in fairness, I want to condemn the writers, but really, it's clearly like a writer's room, like editorial situation where they've got too many producers. We've talked about it. It's like
oh yeah, designed by committee, etc. It's so obvious. Start to end, it's just edginess with all the corners sanded off.
Yeah,
which is, I guess, the phrase of the episode. Then I also want the phrase of the episode to be thoroughly tenderized horse corpse. Bring that one back. I thought that was clever when I came up with it.
I like that a lot. Yeah,
whatever. Jesus Christ, I hate some of these answers sometimes.
Honestly, I bet that would taste really good. I know that's kind of a, like, because I've never had horse meat or whatever, but like,
you ever
I feel
heard
like
the horse meat scandal in fast food back in like 2013 in Europe.
No, so they were using horses in like the fast food. Is that what happened?
Yeah, apparently like like big fast food places like your Burger Kings, McDonald's, whatever. It's like 3% of the meat was horse meat or something.
Huh. Wow. And that's quite a bit, actually. Like, considering, like, 'cause you've got to think that there's got to be like millions of cows, pigs, and chickens and stuff. And so for 3% of it to be horse meat, like that's at least 30,000 per mil. Like, and horses are big.
At least we in the States only have to deal with oatmeal getting in there or something.
Like there are stables full of horses that were obviously slaughtered in that scandal. That is really weird.
I don't know how it happened. I just remember hearing about it recently.
Up to 3%. That's so fucked up.
2013 or so. Probably go look it up. This is surprisingly accurate to the Japanese, by the way. More stuff talking about like leopard print stuff, but the camisole thing is like actually basically exactly what they said, which is weird. That feels like a localization.
The reason this part is in the game is just to make your life hell as a translator.
I mean, it's not like your life hell. It's actually super easy. Whatever.
Fair enough.
Just weird.